Okay, so for today, we're going to use a tennis ball or another bouncy ball. It could be a little bigger than this, like a tennis ball or a racket ball, or even, another type of rubber bouncy ball. We're going to use our hand weights if you have them, and we're going to use a step bench if you have one. Okay, but we're going to start. Go ahead, no equipment, put everything down for a few minutes. And we're going to do some stretching and some kickboxing type of moves. Because this throwing the arms, kind of throwing the legs is good for balance, also good aerobically to get some quicker movement. Let's start standing next to the chair. Squeeze your seat, your belly, and your urinary muscles. So we have this big squeeze kind of from the lower rib cage down to the upper thighs. Okay, and just hold that and then check in with your feet that they're hip width apart. Your gaze is straight forward. Your chin is parallel to the ground. Okay. Let's bring the arms forward a little and then let's just pull back. Keep the squeeze in that midsection of your body a little forward, a pull back, forward, and the pull back is where the emphasis is. Gently forward a little, a pull back. And from that pulled back position, I'm just going to drop the arms, and you want to end up with your palms facing your side seams. One thing that can happen is the palms want to face back, but we want the palms facing in. And with the elbows pulled back, elbows will be slightly bent there. Okay? We're going to now, in this position, you have your wide shoulders. Shoulders are kind of back and a little down, so you have a very long neck. A little bit of pull from the elbows, pulling back. Squeeze and hold maximum effort and hold for 2 breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. On the exhale, reinforce in through the nose, out through the mouth. Reinforce that mid-body squeeze. Keeping that squeeze, we're going to do a side bend, and here you just bring your fingertip down towards your knee, sliding along. Keep the big squeeze, and the squeeze will pull you up and over, squeeze firmly to come up. Be sure to breathe in and out, mostly through your nose as we do these movements. Okay, now we're thinking of getting some extension. We got lateral bending. Now what we'd like to do, we're keeping this firm muscle tension here. We're going to take one hand, move it to the back of your thigh, and extend, and fingertips going toward the back of the knee. Ideally, you kind of look straight ahead, not up to the ceiling, but looking forward. Squeeze to come up, and we'll do it again on that side. Fingertips sliding toward the knee, the big squeeze to bring you up, and then let's do the other hand. The other hand kind of on the back of the thigh, shoulders back, gaze is forward. Squeeze as you lower slowly, and then squeeze to come up. The seat really squeezes as you extend the back and then coming up. Very nice. Very nice. Let's take a breath in, a breath out, squeeze on the exhale, a breath in, out through the mouth, and squeeze those muscles in the center of the body on the exhale. Okay, let's try being right next to the chair, or you can put a finger or 2 fingers on the chair as needed. A light grip if you need to. So we're going to start with just kicking legs. It's going to be a kick forward, kick back, kick front, kick back, kick, kick. Now, I'm thinking, okay, don't forget these core muscles. Use those. Keep the urinary muscles working as you try for a few kicks. Okay. And that's challenging. Really good for the knee and good for balance. Let's take a breath in, a breath out, add your squeeze, and let's hand there if you need it. Other leg, kick, kick. So we're trying to balance on one leg, kick, kick, as we're giving that kick, 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 and we'll go ahead and bring that down. Now, staying to the side of the chair, do another exercise for balance, a little break from that kicking. We're going to do a high knee jumping jack, or jack without the jump. So it's going to be a high knee. And what we're doing, we're starting at a moderate pace. In a minute, we're going to try to slow it down, because this is also about balancing on one leg. And when you can, we'll just slow it down a little. We want the soft return to the ground of the foot. Say this bothers your shoulders, you could come up from the front if you have a shoulder concern, rather than out from the side. Out from the side is a little more work for the core, but you could do either way. Then we'll bring it down. So let's have a little break. Let's circle the shoulders back. Let's open and close. Squeeze your core. Open and close the fist. Emphasis on the opening as we do a backward arm circle, and down, and opening and closing on the other side. Focus on the opening of the fingers, and down. Let's do one breast stroke, and bring the hands back, then really tighten in the core to correct any overarch of the back there. Okay, we want to be slightly behind the chair now, because we're going to do some side kicks. So it's going to be a kick to the side. So let's try the legs first. You could use a finger or 2 on the chair. Side kick, side kick, side kick, side kick. And we'd like to add arms, but that will depend on you, and if you really need to have a hand on the chair. But it could be punch, punch, kick, punch, punch, kick, punch, punch, kick. Just makes it more aerobic. Kick, or you could just have your hand on the chair and do your kick. So whatever you want. Kick, punch, punch, kick. Pull in the belly, tighten the seat, and we try to make it that controlled return of the leg. You can pause, punch, punch, pause, punch, punch, pause. Okay, good for the hips, that side kicking. Let's take a breath in, a breath out, and then we're going to just change it to a leg lift to the side. A little bit more workout for the hips. So it'll be just a side leg lift, and down, and other side. So you could be, if you need your chair quite a bit, you could be right behind your chair, 2 fingertips on the chair. So to gauge for yourself, always want to be within reach of the chair. Or we might try it with the punch. Punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift. Working on smooth coordination and control. One thing with that, and the punching makes you want to like lean forward. We're trying to keep the heart open and lifted with that. So really have to use your back muscles. You can feel it. Just lift your hands forward. You feel your back muscles have to contract. Bring them down. Easier on the back muscles. So the punching really helps to use the back muscles. So let's think of keeping the shoulders wide, heart open, collarbones spread, and we'll try that side lift. Punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, belly in, punch, punch, shoulders wide, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift. Okay. Another thing, now we're going to do the high knee lift, but we will do the hands to the front. So we're taking some breaths in, a breath out. Other side. You could have one hand on the chair if you need. A breath in, a breath out, a breath in, a breath out. One more, a breath in, a breath out. Okay, let's try a forward kick. Now this really good for the back muscles because your whole body wants to collapse with that kick, but we want to keep the back up. So when we kick, the back stays straight. So you want to be to the side of the chair so you have room to kick forward. You could keep a hand on the chair if you need. But it's going to be punch, punch, kick. Punch, punch, kick. We kind of want that little jolt to the knee with the kick where you really give it a kick. You feel your knees bent, then it's suddenly straight. Punch, punch. Lifting the heart. Staying tall in the trunk, belly in. Okay. And then let's do a few toe rises. Weight toward your first and second toe, firm in your core, squeezing the seat, belly, urinary muscles. Weight toward the first and second toe, firm ankles, and let's do it with the breath. And out. The breath in. And out. Okay, now we're going to do a small lunge, and here's another time we want to be right at the side of the chair. So kind of a small lunge. So I look down, I think maybe that's 18 inches between my heel and my toe, something like that. And with the punch, I'm going to lift the back knee. So it's going to be lift like that, and then back on the ball of the foot. So I'm on the flat foot in front, ball of the foot behind. I have my shoulders back over my hips. I can nudge a few times to kind of settle, but then the movement is a lift and back, and a lift and back. Let's try it with the punch, and we'll do repeatedly. See how that goes. So you'd be within reach of your chair. So you could be punching with one arm or two, but maybe a punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift, punch, punch, lift. Getting in 4 lunges of our 15 right there. And then we'll go to the other side. So I'm going to step a little forward with my other foot, and ball of the back foot, front foot flat, squeezing my seat. I'll nudge, chair within reach if you need it, And we're going to be lifting the back knee a little forward. And might try it with the punch. So punch, punch, lift. And I'm going to a straight elbow with those punches. Punch, punch, lift. Punch, punch, lift. It really helps to use the belly. Punch, punch, lift. And back. And then we'll bring the feet together. So that's energetic. We're breathing hard. Let's take a breath in. A breath out. Open and close with a big backward arm circle. Okay. And we're going to do a few back lunges with a rowing type of motion. So I'm right here next to the chair. I'm going to turn so you can see, but we're just going to pull back with the elbows and come back on the ball of the foot and step forward. Other side back with a row and then forward. I have 2 levels there. I went off the edge of my carpet. Okay, let's try that. Back lunge, pull the elbows back, in forward, other side. Back lunge, pull the elbows back, in forward. Back, in forward, back. Using the upper back muscles when we pull back, forward, back on the ball of the foot, front, back on the ball of the other foot, and forward. Okay, let's go forward, down, out, squeeze, get the core involved, and then we'll drop and circle. Okay, and let's drop and circle, other arm in front, keeping that squeeze on your core. And then we're just going to step out to the side, and we're going to do a windmill type of exercise. For this, you can bend your knees if you need to, or keep your legs straight if it's possible for you. We're going to let the seat go back as we hinge at the hip, reach and touch the outside of one knee. Bring that arm out, and now squeeze your seat, push yourself back up. Other side, seat goes back, touch the outside of your other knee, arm comes back out, and then squeezing the seat to come up. Now if you can reach a little lower than your knee, go ahead. And this is if you're having no back pain. Seat back, maybe reach down mid-calf, arm comes back, and then that powerful lifting to come back up, down, outside of the calf, arm up, squeeze your seat to come forward. Then we'll step the legs together, circle the shoulders around. Think of relaxing your shoulders and your neck as you're squeezing in your seat. And we're going to go now to our impacts before we go to the bench. Let's go to our coordination first. So if you have a ball, or you could use some socks, you know, if you have just a small pair of socks that you can roll together, that also works. Okay. If you have a ball, we're going to start tossing hand to hand. Give yourself, 5 or 6 times to practice to improve your throw and improve your catch. Okay. And then if you have a bouncy ball, we do want to bounce it off the floor, and we'll go hand to hand. And feel free to bounce it hard enough that it comes up closer to your face. All right, I see a lot of people do have balls. And then what we want to do now is a bounce toss. And this is get the eyes moving up, get the eyes moving down. So really adapting to shifting your gaze and keeping your balance. So you might want to be within reach of a wall or something, but we'll bounce, catch, toss, other hand, bounce, catch, toss, whoa, bounce, toss, bounce, toss. I could be hitting the ceiling. Gentle toss, bounce, toss, bounce, and then toss it to the other hand. Good. So this is really good training for safe walking and driving. Now let's just try bouncing from hand to hand quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. So now we've done that. This is going to help get us ready for the bench, as are the impacts. So the impacts stimulate your feet and help balance. We think of them as mostly bone density, but all that foot stimulation is also very good for balance. So we put the balls aside. Some of the things that we're going to do when we do our impacts today, if you watch my feet, we're going to do some toes in. So this is like this. And you want to feel that different position in your hip. And it's to alter the force into your hip to work a little more effectively with bone density. We're going to do some toes out. And you see a different position of your hip. Both of those, important to use your core so you don't injure your hip. It'll help control any like excessive movement. Some toes in, some toes out. We're also going to do some toe walk. This is for strength of the foot and the calves. And we're going to do some heel walk to strengthen the front of the calf. So the front of the shin. And with the toe walk, if you bend over, it's so much easier. But we want to stay up straight and really make those muscles in the front of the lower leg work. Also makes your back muscles work. So a breath in, a breath out. We'll add some music. Find that place on your floor that's nice and firm. Now the 8-inch lift. Pretty good force into the heel. Put the toes in. 9. Toes out. So we've done some things, our kickboxing, the impacts, really speeding up and increasing intensity. That recently, that article came out, so good for the brain. Now we're going to get our step bench ready. We have our step bench facing the end of it, facing your screen with the chair at the end. So I can step on my step bench and I'm right behind my chair. So I'm standing on the end of it. So if I step forward, I'm stepping off of it. So you'd have your chair here for balance. And this is a great position for doing side lunges. I'm moving the chair so you can see me. Move this back a little. Okay. And we're going to start standing on the end of the bench. Chairs there for your fingertips. If you don't have a bench, stand on the floor. We're going to do side lunges, which are important for bone density and also fall prevention. So we're going to step down, hinge. So the hinge is, I've got all my weight kind of vertically right over this foot, knee, hip, shoulders, head, right over there. I'm going to lift this leg on the bench, tap, tap, and I really feel that shifts my weight. Okay, then I'm going to push my seat forward and I'm going to come back to the center. Nice little spring to get up there. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the other side, making sure you have space. Step, hinge, tap, tap. So you really feel like you got over all your weight on that one leg. And if the hinge is at the hip, my seat goes back, chest comes forward. Then I think of my seat coming forward and I come to the center. So we work on the floor, those careful returns to center with good balance, which pays off when you do this on the bench. Let's go again. Step, hinge, up, step, hinge, up. Now we'll do it with the foot tap, step, hinge, tap, tap, up, step, hinge, tap, tap, up. Okay, little balance. We'll stand there, make sure your feet are centered and you're good. We'll do that half jumping jack. Jack, or half jack without the jump, down. And then we're gonna step to one side and we're gonna do a side lunge where you practice stepping over. So if you don't have a bench, just imagine that you're stepping over something 4 to 6 inches high, like stepping over a curb, for example, sideways. So we'll do that step, tap, tap, and the seat forward, and a step back. Step, tap, tap, a step back. And then we'll step over. Make sure you have space. We're going to bring the other foot over. So we're going to practice that a few times, where it's a step out, a step back on this side, a step out, a step back. Just some quicker movement. Okay. And we'll step over, tap, tap, and back, a step over, hinge, tap, tap, and coming back. So good work on that. let's change the bench. We're going to change it to face the screen. And for the chair will now go on the end. For your hand, I'm going to turn the back of the chair. So I have the chair right there. And I'm going to do some front and back lunging off of the bench. So let's start on the bench here, close to the chair, so your arm can comfortably reach the chair if you need. And we're going to do a back lunge. Okay, so I'm going to just come back on the ball of the foot. And see, it's kind of a harder landing. It takes a little more strength to control that. And I'm going to do like I did on the floor earlier. We were doing our kickboxing, is I'm going to see if I can touch my knee and go back. Touch my knee into the back lunge. And one more time, that touch and go back. And then let's come back up on the bench. A breath in, a breath out. More aerobic with the bench and a little more strength required there. Let's go with the other leg. We'll go back on the ball of the foot. Chair's there if you need it. That tap the knee, back on the ball of the foot. A tap and back down, and a tap, back down. This time we'll tap to the bench. Whew. Okay. Circle the shoulders back. Okay, and then we'll try stepping forward and back. Front step, back step. And if you can see, you don't have to have a bend. We're just stepping forward and back and lifting the knee if you're on the floor, as though you were stepping over something. Step and back. And let's do it with the other leg. Start with the back one. We're used to the back. And forward, and back, and forward. All part of our balance workout combined with our lunges for bone density. Okay, let's step back. And we're gonna get rid of our bench. So that's been quite a standing workout, I think. I think very good intensity for fitness, brain, muscles, bones. We're going to now use the weights if you want for squatting. Okay. So we're going to stand in front of the chair, just like we would normally, where you're lightly touching the chair with the back of your calves or your knees. Separate your feet about hip width apart. Bend the elbows 90 degrees and bring the elbows right into your sides and pull back a little. And then we'll bend both knees and hinge at the hip. I still have a flat back and come down softly to the chair. So you can do this without weights if you want to use your hands to slow down your descent to the chair, because we're trying to land softly. Come up, and we'll go down and land softly. Let's bring the weights up here. Let's jump out with the breath. And let's finish. So if you're finding the weights are too much, to just put your weights down on the floor, we're going to do 5 lift and lowers. This is the hardest part of the squat. Requires the most in the way of both balance and muscle strength, so you might need to use your hands Just depends on where you are. I'm going to scoot forward a little so my chair tilts a bit. Okay, here we go. Belly in, contract your seat and urinary muscles. A little lift and down. Doing that part. Okay, trying to keep my elbows back. You definitely want to drift forward. 3, 4, 5. Whew. Okay, and that breath in with the jump and out. A breath in and out. And we're going to put the weights down until a little later. We're going to turn the chair to face the screen. Take the shoes off. So we have about 25 more minutes. We're going to do some work in the chair that includes stretching, and then we're going to stand and use the weights again at the end of class. But let's go ahead. Start with a strengthener. We want to be halfway forward in the chair. We want to be facing the screen. Turn so you can see a little better. We're going to do one of our best strengtheners for the thigh and the abdominal area. So let's circle the shoulders back around, shoulders wide, shoulders back, shoulders down, long neck. So a short neck is created by shrugging your shoulders. You want a long neck by lowering the shoulders. Okay, belly in. We're going to practice lifting the knee and just slowly coax your belly into really tensing those muscles. Keep your chin parallel to the ground. Keep your back kind of straight and stationary. Then we're going to lift and hold, straighten, give it a kick, lift and hold, and down. So we're moving real slow. We're constantly having to remind the trunk to stay straight. A lift and down. Lift your heart, shoulders back, elbows pulling back, straighten all the way. A lift and down. Lift, kick, lift, and down. And let's do a breath in, a breath out, a breath in, out, or in mostly. Lean forward and let's hug both knees for that stretch. And then we're going to come up. We're going to scoot the seat forward a little, straight back, move your feet forward a little, and lean back on the chair. We're going to come on the tippy toes. Think of getting your belly tighter, tighter, tighter. Chin parallel to the ground. Look straight ahead. Just working on endurance for the abdominal muscles. Those are endurance muscles. Can we bring them both out? Maybe for a hug, maybe from behind the knee, maybe from in front, whatever works for you. See if you can pull them closer and feel a stretch in your low back. It's a lot of biceps involved in that pull. Okay, contract your belly. We'll let go and we'll bring them down slowly. And then we're going to straighten. Now your heels are on the ground. Think of straight knees. Think of looking straight ahead so you don't have tension in your neck. We're going to inflate the belly on the breath in through the nose. Deflate the belly. Push the air out through the mouth and lift about 4 inches. Touch your toes, touch your heels. We're going to be doing some hip stretching, so this is kind of getting ready for that. Toe and heel and lower. Another breath into the belly. You breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, compress. We're going to lift that 4 inches, and then we'll pedal. Think of getting your full ankle movement. Think of walking, where you don't want to be walking flat-footed and stiff. You want the ankles to flex and move. Okay, and then we'll bring that down. Okay. We're going to bring the feet down. We'll bring the hands here. We'll do a lift. Scooch back to halfway forward in the chair. Let's separate and bring the hands down. Now we're going to lean, then curl and unroll. So that leaning forward, mainly hinging at the hip. Tuck your chin, look towards your lap, curl up, unroll. And then leaning, 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 and then that tucking and curling. And unroll. For the hands, or the shoulders, we're going to come up and it's kind of like grabbing your elbows, but you don't have to reach that far. If it bothers your elbows, you could grab your forearms. You kind of want the hands to frame your head. And we're going to go over to one side and kind of give a pull with your hand, giving a pull. And we'll go to the other side. And with that, we're kind of wanting to get a pull in the shoulder. So this is one of the shoulder muscles that often feels really good for it to get a stretch. And then we'll just bring the hands to the front. And now we're going to rotate belly in, back really straight. And we're going to go to one side, look at your back elbow, back to the center, and the other side. Looking at the back elbow. Once more to each side. Okay, to the center. Let's interlace the fingers. This is where we bring the fingers, interlace, and we're going to get that wrist and finger stretch. Sitting straight in the chair, we bring the elbows forward. So I just went from my side, my elbows are kind of forward, and then my palms face out, and I push my fingers out, push my palms forward. Hinge your shoulders forward, a little hinge, so maybe you can go overhead. Pull in your belly, contract your seat and urinary here. Now here we'll go to the side bend where you're using your trunk muscles to raise you and lower you from side to side. While you get the stretch in the wrist and fingers, back to the head. We'll come down, open and close. Let's come out to the sides and circle in the wrist, and then the other way. Okay, facing forward in the chair, we're gonna work on the hips for a minute. So let's come to the ball of the foot. We're gonna start with the strengthener. I'm gonna reach back, but keep my belly contracted so I don't like arch my whole back. So I'm gonna reach my arms back to widen the shoulders. Belly contracted so my back doesn't arch. I'm on the ball of this foot, and I'm going to go out and into touch. I'm pulling my elbows back to help spread my shoulders. Thinking of sliding and gliding in the hip joint. Kind of getting ready for my next exercise. On the ball of the hip, the foot, in, out, stretching up good and tall, out, and in. Okay, now that I'm kind of ready for it, I can swivel my toes out. I can come up to my very tippy toes, come down. I can swivel my toes in and my knees in and up to my tippy toes. Heels out, maybe a little wider on the knees, up on the tippy toes and down, in, touch hard enough to feel your stomach contract extra, and then up, down. Now I want to put one ankle over a knee, trying to do that on my own leg power, but if you need to use your hands, that's fine. Now my body really wants to curve forward. This is quite a stretch. I'm going to try to keep my back straight. This is that uses your back muscles strongly. Very good for bone density of the spine. And I'm going to circle my ankle one way. Also thinking of that walking with nice flexibility in my feet and ankles. Okay, then just using my leg muscles, I'm going to bring that leg carefully to the floor. I'm going to bounce up my other ankle over that knee, then position myself in the chair. I can pull my elbows back, put my hands back, maybe a little pressure on my fingertips, help me stay up straight, pull in the belly, and then we'll circle in the ankle while that hip is stretching. Also the thing to think about is the hip relaxing and allowing that external rotation, like that. And then muscular control as I bring that back down. Okay. And then we're going to do some side sitting exercises for the spine. So I'm going to turn sideways in the chair, and then I'm going to angle my chair so I can look at the screen a little better. So feel free to angle your chair. You just want to be completely sideways in your chair. You get a lot of flexibility in this position that you might not get otherwise. Okay, so we're going to start big backward arm circle. We're going to let it dangle. This is all about the shoulder. Now loose and gliding in the shoulder joint. Okay, let's open and close the hand. So now we're focused back to these big abdominal, back, and urinary muscles. We're doing the big squeeze, open and close the arm to the side. And then with fingers open, we're going to rotate and touch the opposite shoulder back there, and watch your hand with your eyes. And watch your hand as it goes way back. And what we're doing with that straight back vertically, we're rotating as far as we can. You can give a little pull with your hand on the chair back here, getting some extra stretch. And then we'll just bring that down, and we're going to hold on to the chair, and we're going to do a big sideways bend. Sweep your hands up and lean over the chair and get extra side bend that way as you kind of use the chair as a fulcrum. And down and up. Okay. Now we're going to change the leg position here. So we're going to scoot forward in the chair a bit, so part of your seat hangs off the edge. And then we're just going to slide that foot back. I'm on the ball of the foot. I'm sliding it back until my hip is straight. Then I'm going to straighten up so my shoulder is back over my hip, and I have no curl to my spine. I'm using my back muscles to hold me up. I'm going to let that foot just lay flat. So this is a good stretch for the front of the thigh. I want to strengthen in the back of the thigh, so I'm going to lift my heel toward my seat, pull in my belly, keep my back straight, and then lower. So I'm going to lift and pause and lower, lift and pause and lower, lift, pause. Now I'm going to tuck my toes. Now I'm going to stretch the front of my thigh a little more by sliding the ball of my foot back. Now, your body wants to go like this, but try to keep it up straight, and you'll feel you get more stretch. The stretch is in here, and then I partially straighten my knee, push my heel back, and then relax. And that partially straightening, hold a breath in, a breath out. Think of getting that stretch. Another breath in and out. And then hold on to the front corner of your chair. We'll relax, and we're gonna lift and bring it back. So working on hip muscles, that knee going front, knee going back, and we'll just bring it forward and put it down. Now we're going to go back to center, and we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to turn sideways to the other way. I'm going to shift my chair so I'm angled a bit toward the screen. I have one hand resting on the back of the chair. I have a nice straight back. I'm going to contract these core muscles, including the seat, and then I'm going to do a big backward arm circle. Okay. I'm going to do a side bend and lean over the back of the chair, and a side bend and lean over the back of the chair. Okay, and then I'm going to scoot my seat off the front edge of the chair, and I'm going to lower that knee, and I'll put that top of the foot on the ground. So now my toe is pointed back there, back straight, add my core, and then lift the heel, hold and down, a lift, pause and lower, and a lift, pause and lower. Going to the ball of the foot, sliding back, partially straightening the knee, trying to keep my back straight, and push the heel back, straighten the knee a little more, and relax. Push, straighten, a breath in and out, and relax. Hold on to your chair here. We're going to lift and lower and lift and lower, working on the hip muscles and back. And we're going to bring it up and then step back to the center. Okay, let's get our shoes on. We might want to stretch the hips. Let's lift and pull straight back, hold it up and down, a lift, pull, contract the belly and down. And now get your shoes on, because we're going to stand with our weights. When you're ready, do a little slow march to warm up. So within reach of your chair or your wall, a dresser or a countertop, okay, and we'll just do a swing, little knee bend. And then just to remind you of the grip, its thumb comes around to meet your other fingers, and you be sure to use your fourth and fifth finger as well as your other fingers to grip. So the bigger fingers want to do all the work. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do a lift. We're going to work on the deltoid and the triceps and then the core. So we're going to be close to the chair. We're going to do a toe raise. So a little bend, toe raise, and just let your elbows go out and bring those weights right in towards your armpit, down and up. Good. Okay, let's do a shoulder circle to the back. And we're going to think of doing a forward lunge. So I'm standing a little behind my chair so I can step forward on a flat foot, ball of the back foot. And I'm going to bring the weights to my shoulders. I'm going to nudge. I'm going to add my core. So seat, belly, urinary. I'm going to go overhead. And then behind, touch, right at the base of the neck and up. Touch, and up. Touch, and up. Then I'm going to bring my bent elbows. I'm going to bring that down and kind of give myself a little assistance to step back off my heel. Okay, and I'm going to step forward on the other flat foot. Ball of the back foot, bend both knees. Weight in the front heel, so just make sure that the weight's in the front heel there. Okay, let's bring it to the shoulders. Squeeze your core overhead, and we'll go behind and up, behind and up, behind and up, and then bend the elbows, and we can swing it back to help with that step back. Okay, we're going to go down to one weight. All these can be done without weights, and the arm movements can be done without a lunge if that's necessary because of joint pain or back pain. We're going to do a core exercise here. We'll do a front lunge again, which is onto the flat front foot on the ball of the back foot, weight in the front heel. Okay, and we're going to do a figure 8. And you want to feel that kind of right in this middle and upper belly, that figure 8 movement. Okay, and then we can kind of scoop ourselves back. We'll do another front lunge. Settle, squeeze, and then do your nice figure 8 movement. Slow, controlled, and we'll scoop back. Okay. All right. And we're going to put that weight down. Let's bring the elbows in. And we're going to go out, squeeze your core, and cross. And out, and cross. We're going to go out. We're going to work a little on the upper back, leading into our deep breathing. Let's come up this way, and then pull your elbows back, but keep your core contracted. So if you let your core go, it becomes like this. You want to keep the core involved so your don't arch your whole body. Let's take a breath in, a breath out, and pull those elbows back again. So really using the upper back muscles. So breath in, out. Let's keep your seat squeezed so you don't, or your belly squeezed so you don't arch. So there you go, a breath in, a breath out, and then we'll do it a different way. A little curl, a breath in, a breath out, a breath in, pull the elbows back, a little forward, exhale, inhale, reach up and down. Circle the shoulders back, make sure you have space. Feet hip width apart. Add your squeeze of your abdominals, tensed. Seat is tight. Urinary muscles contracted. Palms forward, a little pull back. Do 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then your own loosening up. Whatever you feel is needed.